Hi, welcome to my TED Talk. Let's talk about anxiety. It's my baby. Hi, welcome back. My name is Faith, and this is another TED Talk. And today we're talking about generalized anxiety disorder, otherwise known as GAD. Before I get into the video, I just want to make a disclaimer that please do not use any of the information that I mention in this video to self-diagnose yourself. If you do recognize these symptoms in yourself, do consult a medical general practitioner so that they can assist you and better diagnose you or give you more information on what is going on with you and whether you have anxiety or not. First of all, I want to mention that anxiety is a natural thing in the body. It is a way for our body to challenge us, so it is normal to experience anxiety when you are in situations like you're having a presentation or things like that. But when it starts to become a problem or a disorder is when there are things that go beyond you having anxiety in normal situations. So there are three things that categorize generalized anxiety disorder. And the first thing is when you stress and the stress is always there. And what I mean by this is that the stress that you have or the anxiety that you have when you have a deadline or a presentation is still there even after you have submitted your project or presented your project. Sign number 2 is when you start to struggle to do everyday things. And sign number 3 is when you get anxious about doing everyday things. So you are anxious to get out of bed. You are struggling to clean up after yourself, do things that you would normally do during the day. You are struggling to send work emails. You are struggling to do everyday things, and you're panicking about things like that. Anxiety presents itself in various forms. It can include edginess, irritability, panic attacks, problems sleeping. Another way to figure out whether you are anxious about something, when you have anxiety, you may experience digestive problems. And I know that when I'm super anxious, it's really like my tummy is not my friend, okay? It's not my friend. So I'm very wary about things like that. So those are the three things that categorize generalized anxiety disorder. But for it to be diagnosed as generalized anxiety disorder, it needs to be excessive, persistent, and unreasonable. So if it's excessive, it means that you are experiencing it more than normal, you are anxious more than a normal person would be anxious. And if it is persistent, it means that it is occurring more frequently and it is not going away even when you have accomplished the tasks that perhaps brought about the anxiety. And when it becomes unreasonable, that means that you are worrying even when there is nothing to worry about. Okay, so yeah, with that being said, I actually wanted to just give a brief explanation about where I'm at on my healing process from anxiety. I have actually just realized that in my process to get better and to heal, I have been holding myself back. And why I'm saying this is yesterday, I woke up with this realization that, oh my gosh, I don't know who I am without anxiety or depression. I don't know who happy Faith is, or Faith that doesn't have anxiety or depression. Who is that? What does that look like? And because I'm so close to that, I thought I was just going to be like, I thought I was just going to be excited about the fact that I'm super close to really getting better. But instead, I was so anxious about not knowing what it looks like for me to not have the anxiety, or not knowing what an anxiety-free life is. And that is making me kind of still hold on to the anxiety, because that's what I know, that's what is comfortable, even though it's uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Anxiety can be caused by a lot of things. Research does show that some people do have genetic dispositions to anxiety. I thought that's very interesting, and it makes sense, because I think my mom has quite a bit of anxiety, so it would make sense that I would have some. It can also be experienced by certain personality types more than others. So if you are a perfectionist, you are shy or avoidant, you're more likely to have problems with anxiety. And I'm a perfectionist. I'm always stressing about getting things exactly right, especially when it comes to doing my work and submitting projects and things like that. So I always, even if I do things on time, I'll always want to better that thing until I'm running out of time, which is just insane. I don't know why I do. That's basically what generalized anxiety disorder is. Outside of that, you get acute anxiety and chronic anxiety. So acute anxiety is really the beginning of it. The symptoms are not mild though, just because it's the beginning. You do get a lot of panic attacks. You just feel a feeling of impending doom all the time, like things are just gonna fall apart. Some anxiety can have triggers, but some is just, they aren't triggers for it actually. And for me personally, I've recognized that I have a few triggers, and some of them stem from trauma. So they can stem from trauma, or just the idea of having a deadline, or the idea of going outside and meeting other people, which presents itself as social anxiety. A lot of people have that. Even though I struggle with anxiety, I've never really had social anxiety. I've always thrived in a crowd, but it's strange, since the lockdown happened, the idea of interacting with other people is actually freaking me out. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know what words I'm gonna be using. I'm just I don't know. When it comes to what causes anxiety physically, because it is a physiological thing, when you are freaking out or when you're panicking, your body goes into flight or fright mode. And this is the first thing that kind of triggers the anxiety. Your body does this when it is exposed to a threat or trauma. And as a defense mechanism, your body releases the stress hormone called cortisol. Some people experience mild symptoms, but the symptoms can be debilitating, which means that you can't deal with them. You're struggling to function in the world. There are people who have high functioning anxiety, so they can function in society, and then there are people who just you freak out at work, you just freak out in public. Things are not hard for you. I am just going to share with you a few of the things that I try at home to help me deal with my anxiety, because I know that not everybody is in a position to go to a GP, let alone have one or afford one, especially for a psychological issue. That was always something that I even struggled with at the beginning, that I can't afford to have anxiety, which is just sad that a lot of people are living with their mental illnesses because they just can't afford to have them treated. That just makes me very sad. But yeah, anytime that you're feeling anxious, I think anytime that you're feeling anxious, something that has always worked for me is to breathe in and breathe out. And I always tell my brother this when he's really sad, and he has learned to help me when I'm struggling, and he always reminds me to breathe in and breathe out. So it's just deep breath in for 7 seconds and deep breath out through your mouth for 8 seconds. And it really, really helps in just repeating that and repeating to yourself that you are okay, and just trying to calm your heart rate. That really, really helps. And other things that I do when I'm anxious, I exercise, because exercising releases dopamine because I enjoy it. And I think even if you don't really enjoy exercising, just your body working, your body enjoys that, so it will release dopamine and you will have a dopamine boost, and that will make you feel less anxious. Your body will feel less stressed. And if you are able to remove yourself from the traumatic situation or whatever it is that is causing you to have the anxiety, that is also another way to help you manage it. And that is very important to note, that if you are in a situation that is causing you to feel this way, you should remove yourself from it. If you have people that are causing you to feel that way, you need to remove those people because they are not helping you. You do not have to be learning how to deal with your anxiety around these people. These people should not be making you feel that way. That's just that on that, in my opinion. And yeah, I also find that journaling helps me, like just getting all the feelings that I'm really feeling in that moment onto a sheet of paper really helps. Only when the symptoms are mild, not when I'm super like freaking out. When I have a panic attack, I really just try and breathe, and rocking while I'm breathing also helps me. I think subconsciously creates that cradle sensation from when I was a baby and my mom used to rock me to calm me down or whatnot. I think that's the sensation that it creates, so it helps you to calm down. And I think above all else, when we are not anxious, the work that we're doing when we don't feel the presence of the anxiety is what really assists us to heal from the anxiety. So continue to do these things that help you keep calm, even when you're not experiencing a panic attack, or when you're not freaking out. Try and do these things. The best way to get that treated really is to see a medical practitioner who is going to either suggest 3 things. So the first one, if you have mild anxiety, you are going to be sent to a psychologist so that so you can talk through your problems, and they can give you exercises to do. They're very similar to the ones that I already try at home. And yeah, it's just so you have somebody to talk to help you. If your anxiety is more than mild anxiety, the GP can give you medications such as antidepressants, and these are meant to help you feel less anxious and are meant to help you calm down. And if it's severe, like moderate to severe anxiety, then you will be referred to a psychiatrist. So a psychiatrist is more, it would be a combination of medications and really getting a serious mental assessment to really help you deal with the anxiety. The best time to address anxiety, though, is when it is acute, before it progresses to something else. But the good news is that anxiety is treatable. It's not something that you have to live with in your life. It is something that you can get help for, that you can even try and help yourself. It is something that you can change, and you just need treatment and a comprehensive plan. If you have a plan on how you are going to change your life to try and rid it of anxiety, then that's one step closer to you living an anxiety-free life. And we all want that, okay? I don't want to be worrying about things that are 100% in my control anymore. I really don't. I mean, it's bad enough to worry about things you can't control, like the pandemic and everything that's going on. And then on top of that, to be worrying about things I can't control. No. If this video was helpful to you, definitely leave a comment down below. If you have anxiety and are managing it, really please share your suggestions on how to get rid of anxious feelings or what helps you when you're anxious. Really share that. I would love to hear how you are getting through the anxiety and how you are healing and how you are going about your healing journey. And I would love it if we were all there for each other and supporting each other through all mental health issues. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into this TED Talk about anxiety, and I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope that you are staying safe, that you are prioritizing yourself and your mental health. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join the family, and so that we can support each other and talk about things that need more awareness. Thank you so much for tuning in to my video. I will see you in the next one. Bye. It's my love, touching you slowly.